Problem 10-30, we're going to categorize asset costs and then we're going to calculate depreciation. So discount parking near an airport incurred the following costs to acquire land, make land improvements, and construct and furnish a small building. Discount parking depreciates land improvements over 15 years, buildings over 40 years, and furniture over 10 years, all on a straight line basis with zero residual value. So our requirements: 1, we have these columns for land improvements, building, furniture, and we need to figure out how much each of them cost, because we have various costs up here in this window, or a data table, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to determine the total cost of each asset, and then when we're done with that, we're going to record partial year depreciation from the beginning of October to the end of the year, and then we're going to round to the nearest dollar. So I've got this data table, which I opened by clicking here. So here's what we're doing. First of all, are all of these things going to be depreciated? Furniture will wear out, so we have to depreciate it. The building will last a long time, but not forever. We have to depreciate it. Land improvements like the fencing and the sign, those will not last forever, so we have to depreciate it. Land will last forever, so we will not depreciate it. And these things, land improvements, building, and furniture, all are going to be depreciated over different time periods as shown up here, so we definitely have to keep track of them separately. So we're going to go through these one by one and figure out how to categorize the cost. So the purchase price of 3 acres of land was $80,000. So I'm going to copy and paste that, and that's pretty cheap land, isn't it? $80,000 for 3 acres of land. Not very realistic. Obviously that is the cost of the land, so I'm going to place it in the land column. Next, delinquent real estate taxes on the land to be paid by discount parking. So if this cost, $6,300, is part of the cost to get the land ready to use, then we have to count it as part of the cost of the land and put it in the land account. And that is part of the cost of getting the land ready to go, so I'm going to include that in the cost of the land. Next, additional dirt and earth moving. So $9,000. So is that cost of the land or cost of the building? Well, that's part of the cost of the land, even though we had to clear it so to get the building ready to go. So I'm going to place that under the land because that's part of getting the land ready to go. Title insurance on land acquisition, that's definitely a part of the cost of getting the land ready to go. So I'm going to copy and paste that under land. E, fence around the boundary of the property. Now, will this fence last forever? No. So this is a land improvement. So I'm going to double click that, $9,600, and place that under land improvements on the E column, or the E row. Building permit for the building, $1,000. That's part of the cost of getting the building ready to go. So under F, I'm going to put that under building. G, architect's fee for the design of the building, $20,700. That's part of the cost of getting the building ready to go. H, signs near the front of the property. That's land improvement. And that sign will not last forever. So we will have to depreciate that. That's why we're putting it under land improvements. That's an H. Got to make sure I get these rows correct. I, materials used to construct the building, $215,000. Obviously, that's part of the cost of the building. So now we're going to check our answer, and then it'll show us more rows. Fantastic. Now J, labor to construct the building. That's part of the cost of the building. So that's going to go under the building column. Interest costs on construction loan. Well, you needed that loan to get the building ready to go, so that interest will be capitalized. In other words, it'll be put in the building account and eventually depreciated, so we cannot count that as interest expense. Parking lots on the property. Now, will those parking lots last forever? No, they will eventually need to be repaved, etc. So they will, because they will wear out, we have to depreciate them. So that is a land improvement L. Let's see what else we got here. Lights for the parking lot. 11,200. Those lights will not last forever, so that's a land improvement. Salary of the construction supervisor, 80% to the building, 20% to the parking lot and concrete walks. So 80% of 50,000 will go under the building. So 80% times 50,000, that's $40,000. So on row N for Nancy, I'm going to type 40,000. And then the rest, 10,000, is for the concrete walks and the parking lot. So that will be a land improvement, $10,000. Next, we've got furniture, 11,200. That's going to go to the furniture column. And we had to pay to transport the furniture from the seller to the buyer. Wow, that's an expensive cost to transport the furniture. So that is part of the cost of getting the furniture ready to go. So we will have to capitalize that by putting it in the furniture account, and eventually that will be part of the cost that will get depreciated. And then last, we've got additional fencing. That's a land improvement. So let me double check this, make sure this is right. Everything looks good. Check answer. So now what they want is the totals. So we're going to add up these numbers, and when you add those up, you get 98,500. I'm going to tab to the next column. Land improvements, that's 75,200. I'm going to tab to the next column. Building, add those up, we get 461,100. I'm going to tab to the furniture, 13,000. Comma 400. Of course, the commas are optional. Good job. So we don't need this window anymore. I'm going to close that. All construction was complete and assets were placed in service on October 1. Record partial year depreciation. So how many months are these assets being used if they were placed in service on October? Let me highlight this for you. October 1. Well, it will be used in October, November, and December. So that's 3 months. So now we're going to record depreciation. And remember, it's straight line depreciation with 0 residual value. So what's the formula in words for straight line depreciation? Well, good thing I've got it handy here. Cost minus residual value divided by the useful life times the number of months divided by 12. So let's do land improvements. So the cost of the land improvements, well, first of all, why are we not doing land? Because we do not depreciate land because it will last forever. So we're going to skip that. We're going to go to land improvements. Land improvements, the cost is 75,200. So I'm plopping that in here. And then it says 0 residual value. Come back here. 0 residual value up here. So I got minus 0 and 15 years for the land improvements. And times 3 months. Why 3 months? Because we're placing it in service on October 1, so that's October, November, December. So you do the math, and it rounds to 1253. So I'm going to place 1253, and that's depreciation expense for the land improvements. Now, I think this is kind of weird. They want you, instead of recording one journal entry for land improvements depreciation and another one for the building depreciation and one for the furniture depreciation, this is kind of bizarre in my opinion. Record a single compound entry. So we're going to list them all here. So the next one would be the building. So that's building, or excuse me, depreciation expense on the building. And then depreciation expense on the furniture. And then we have to have the accumulated depreciation. So I need accumulated depreciation on the land improvements, accumulated depreciation on the building, and then accumulated depreciation on the furniture. So since I've already recorded the depreciation expense on the land improvements, I can copy and paste that. So now let's record the depreciation on the building. So the building cost us $46,100 minus zero residual, and it lasts 40 years. So divide by 40 years times 3 divided by 12 gives you $2,882 rounded. 2882, 2882. And I'm trying to find the instructions for you. And why am I rounding the nearest dollar? Because it says so right here in the instructions. So next we've got the furniture. The furniture cost us $13,400, so I'm plugging that into the formula. And of course the formula is up here. So 13,400 divided by 10 years times 3 divided by 12 gives you $335 for those 3 months. 335, 335. And then we need our explanation to record depreciation on assets. Now, if this is my company, I would do these separately. I'd do the land improvements as one journal entry, one for the building depreciation, one for the furniture depreciation. But this company chose to do it different. And that's it.